All right, the fun fact begins today by saying your friend is showing you a funny video she took of you.
That's funny.
Yeah, you're joking around with your friends. Somebody pulls out their smartphone and starts filming it as they do these days. Everything is filmed, everything is photographed, everything is on Facebook forever.
Yep.
It will always be there. Every embarrassing or funny moment is
absolutely
preserved.
We've all experienced this. As it continues, it says, it's cute, but you can't help but notice how odd your voice sounds, right? So when you watch the video back, a minute later or a few hours, days later, whatever, when you watch it back, you can't help but notice how odd your voice sounds. When something is odd, basically it's strange, it's weird, it's not what we expect, it's definitely unusual. And when you can't help but do something, what does that mean?
It just means that you can't stop yourself.
Can't stop yourself.
From doing something.
Yeah.
Can't help but notice just means, well, you basically have to notice this. It's inescapable. It can't get away from you. You notice it right away.
Absolutely.
Because it's obvious.
When I come home on a hot summer day, I can't help but turn on the air conditioner.
Yes.
The first thing when I walk in the door. Even if the phone's ringing, I'll turn on the air conditioner. I can't stop myself. I can't help but do that.
So the question before us is, why does your recorded voice sound so different from what you expected? If you record something, it means that you document it using, say, a recording device. You can record things with your smartphone, as we said. It can mean to film something, or it can mean to just take an audio recording, which is a recording of the sound.
That's right.
For example, like a CD, that's a recording. Or this program is a recording. Radio, those are recordings that we're hearing, unless they're live, of course.
True.
And to expect something means you think something will be a certain way. You might expect that the movie is going to be great, and then you get there and it's just kind of, disappointing.
Basically,
It's not what you expected. So
Right.
when you're listening to a recording of your voice, you expect that it's going to sound majestic and tough.
Just the way it sounds in your head.
It's going to sound the way that you think it sounds, but then it doesn't. So let's take a look at the options, the explanations for why this could be.
Okay, so why is it different when we hear our voices on the recording compared to in our head? A, it says because people always compared their voices to their friends. Okay. So when it's a recording, it's more like, well, that's not my voice. You don't really think of it that way. You're just listening to it compared to your friends. When you compare things, basically you take two things that are similar, alike in some way, you put them next to each other, and you notice how they are different or the same as well. For example, if you're looking at two pairs of shoes, you might compare them, the price, the color, the style, and then of course you'll probably buy the one you like most. But before, to compare, you put them next to each other and judge them or look at how they're the same or different. So maybe you're just comparing yourself to your friends' voices. All right, possibly.
Okay, sounds possible.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at option B. B says because people use high-pitched voices when they're talking with friends.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I really don't believe that.
That never happens.
I know. I'm not saying that's true.
Yeah, that's what a high-pitched voice is. It just means you take the pitch of your voice and it goes up instead of down.
Yeah, I mean, if I talk to myself at home, I'm really hungry, I'm gonna go make a sandwich.
You talk to yourself at home?
Well, if I did, it would be weird if I was talking to myself at home, but then I call you, hey Joe, how's it going? I'm gonna make myself a sandwich. That was a really good talk on the phone with Joe I just had.
I do know people
that
who
would be weird.
I know people who change the tone of their voice.
Really?
I had a friend in high school.
Huh.
When he'd be talking with his friends, he'd kind of like a higher pitched voice. And then all of a sudden, he'd call a girl on the phone, and his voice would go down. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, babe?
This is Dave.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I only do that when I want something from someone on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you make your voice what, more
powerful?
Yes.
Hello, this is Mike. I really want to get a restaurant reservation.
I'm someone you don't say no to.
I'm famous and powerful.
Yes.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, but
No.
you do it anyway.
I feel good.
Okay, that sounds possible too.
All right.
So we have two possible options that
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
I don't really like them. Let's see.
Let's see what C
Okay,
is.
C says because people usually hear their voices vibrating inside their own heads.
Are they saying my head is empty?
They said your head is empty and it's vibrating.
dare you.
It's shaking back and forth very quickly. Vibrate is basically to shake back and forth. For example, if you're in a car and the car is off, it will feel very still. But if someone gets in and turns on the engine, even if you're not driving or moving, it'll still shake a little bit because the motor is moving, so it shakes the car. That slight shaking feeling is to vibrate, or the feeling is a vibration. And of course, our head does have space inside, right?
Some more than others.
Some more than others. But when you get sick, for example, and you get a cold, right? You get all that stuff inside your nose and head. That's the space that the sound would be vibrating in, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna go with C because I've heard this from singing. They talk about vibrating sounds within your head to project a certain sound. So
Definitely.
I'm gonna go with C.
And that's how people, I think, can hear, oh, you have a cold,
Yeah.
right? They'll notice if you have a cold just because your voice sounds a little different. Well, let's see what the answer it says. It says you're hitting the right note if you chose C.
There
Put
we
her there,
go.
man.
Bam.
Yeah, all right. So the answer is C, and you're hitting the right note. I like that because when you sing and you sing well, you hit the right note. So it means you're going in the right direction, you're choosing the right options, you've made the right decision if you've picked C. And hitting the right note is a shortcut for you. Interesting. Let's do that, then we'll come back.